And we're actually doing a second success client interview with Leigh Hurley. Because morning, Leigh, by the way.
Right, morning.
Got your dog involved. Nice.
This is Rocco. He's my support.
You're number two. Nice. So, like I said, this is actually Leigh's second success interview because he's been in the program. How many weeks now, do you reckon, Leigh?
Well, since January, so quite a long time, really, isn't it? It's got to be at least, it's 9 months anyway.
9 months, yeah. So Leigh's been in the program 9 months now. So what I thought would be really good, more than anything, is talk about how the changes in you, physically, mentally, emotionally, mindset-wise, have more than anything affected your business going forwards. Because I think a lot of people think about health in terms of like losing weight, gaining energy, maybe like being different around the family. They don't necessarily think about what can happen to your business going forward. What if that means, like, I don't know, like you said, like getting a bit more time off from you, less stress, business growth. So that's what I wanted to do today, really touch on the business wins. Is that cool with you?
Yeah, that's good.
So just before we do get into that though, talk to me about before we started, where were you with your health, your fitness, and what was going on for you? So we got a picture of where we are from there.
Before I started in January, was obviously when I first started. December time, I realised actually I needed to make some changes to my health and well-being. I needed to start doing something, moving more, exercising more. I used to be really good, and then COVID came along, and like everybody else, you get into the habit of it. We had gym memberships and all that. I was walking, I was doing stuff around the house and garden and all that, but I wasn't doing the gym, which is something I used to really enjoy, and I became obviously complacent with that, and actually didn't enjoy going to the gym anymore. I tried to go back and just couldn't get myself motivated. I had no goal or no drive for it, really, and obviously having a goal or an aim to go for is so important, really, to make that why bigger, really. So obviously now my why is much bigger because of health and well-being, and the fitness and the benefits I've felt from training and exercise has been huge, really. So my why initially was just to lose weight and look good again. Now it's actually much bigger. I mean, the energy levels I've got now, the things I'm doing now are far greater than what I was doing 12 months ago, which is fantastic, to be honest with you. I feel like I've had a new lease of life. I'm in my 40s, and now I feel like I'm in my 20s again because of obviously the exercising. So yeah, I was 15, just over 15 stone in weight. Obviously I used to box years ago and I was about 9.5 stone. So I now know I'd never get back to that weight again. But obviously I wanted to happily sit around about the 12 stone mark. I've always felt comfortable in that sort of weight sort of range, really. And so that was my biggest goal initially, was just to lose the weight and get back down to 12 stone and then maintain it as well. The problem I had was obviously yo-yoing. I did this sort of weight and then I'd go up and down. Obviously this time around, 9 months down the road, I'm still sitting around about the 12 stone mark. I hit that target weight and feeling so much better for it, more comfortable, much more happier. I'm not snoring anymore, which I used to snore terribly. I used to even have sort of symptoms like sleep apnea, although I'd never been diagnosed with it. I used to have those, according to my wife. I don't have any of those anymore. And that's brilliant, to be honest with you, for overall health and well-being.
Yeah, dude, that's absolutely huge. So tell me a little bit about, obviously, we've got a picture of where you were. I actually forgot to say, say a little bit about who you are, Leigh, and what you do.
Oh, okay. So I'm a chiropractor. I run a chiropractic clinic. I've run a chiropractic clinic now for nearly 20 years. And in that 20 years, like I said, I was really fit, and obviously everything was going really, really well. But as time gets on, you get a bit lazy, you get a bit complacent. And as much as I was doing a little bit, I could have done more. I believed I didn't have enough energy. I didn't believe I didn't have enough time. And obviously changing my mindset and my attitude to that was a huge challenge. And once I got past that, now it's become second nature, like brushing your teeth or eating a meal, really. But I'm making healthier choices.
All right, guys, I think we have lost Leigh for a second. I'm hoping he's back. He appears back on our screen in a second. But until he does, let me just tell you a little bit of background about Leigh. So, he's been in the program. So, about 9 months now. He's a business owner, so he's busy. He's a chiropractor and he does a lot of treatments himself. So he's needed to keep himself fit and strong and active for that. and his business since he's been in the program has increased rapidly. You know, we're going to talk about that. He's taken on like new therapists. He's upgraded his facilities. Like he's done so many things that haven't just been business related. So I'm hoping we get Leigh back on in a minute. I'm sure it won't be long. Yeah, I'm sure it won't be long, guys. But like I said, yeah, he's lost, like you said in the bio, he's lost 3 stone. Energy levels are better. His relationships are better with, you know, his wife. Less stressed. All the good stuff that we know that happens when you do a transformation, right? When you start looking after your health, when you start sleeping better. You know, I mentioned he had the snoring and sleep apnea.
Sorry, Mike. I don't know what happened then. I got cut off completely the signal. I tried to get back in, but it wouldn't let me this time.
All good, mate. I was just filling them in on where you were, a little bit about your business and the changes you've made. So let's go there then. So if we look at your 9 months down the road, like I said, the really big thing I wanted to touch on today is I think you see a lot of business owners that, you know, they'll put certain £1,000 or thousands of pounds into marketing, into sales, into all these different areas. And I always think if you invested in yourself, in your health to get more energy, sleep better, reduce stress, all these things, what would your business look like? You know, so I want to touch on the business wins that you've had. So what are some of the business wins you've had, Leigh?
Yeah, so we've had lots of plans, obviously, especially after COVID, because obviously that was a tough time for a lot of businesses and all that. We had to pretty much start again, really. We cancelled everyone out, and then we had to obviously remarket ourselves and put ourselves out there. And obviously the numbers grew back again. We managed to help a lot of people in that time period as well. But I still didn't have enough energy to sort of go forward, really. We needed to employ new therapists as well because we lost the ones we had because they weren't able to work.
Yeah.
Obviously because of the restrictions that were put in place. So that was a challenge in itself, was bringing in new staff. But since January, obviously, I realised the expansion we needed to make in the clinic as well. So we, in that process, have created an extra treatment room. We restored the building, so we removed the kitchen and relocated that, so create a new staff room. So then that freed up the room to put another treatment room in, which then allowed me to employ an extra 2 massage therapists, and we're looking to go down the route of employing another a chiropractor now. We've taken on a promotion member of staff as well as dealing with all the promotions, administration, stuff like that, which is a really, really big thing as well. But I didn't have the energy before, to be honest with you, or the motivation to get them things done. I was almost treading water. As you do, you eat, sleep, you work, and repeat the cycle, really. And there was no sort of sign of exercise. There's a lot of laziness involved in that because there is no excuse. I tell my brain every day when I actually don't want to train, I'm going to the gym, I get dressed and I hit the gym and I feel better for it. I go home, that hour spent in the gym is priceless now. It's obviously my place to go. Where I do sort of get rid of a lot of stress from a day's work, and I sort of go over stuff I need to go over in my brain when I'm actually training and not focused on the work. I'm focusing on myself, really. So it's been huge, really, from the point of view of the practice, the growth and all that. Obviously, having extra free massage therapists work alongside me is taking a lot of stress away from me and allowing me to enjoy my days off where I couldn't enjoy before.
I remember when we had one of our initial conversations, and just remind me, like, how many hours were you working? Wasn't it like 60, 70 hours a week?
Yeah, I was doing ridiculous hours, to be honest. At one point, I was doing 6 days a week in practice. Now I work 3.5 days a week. And don't get me wrong, I started a while ago, but I still do 10-hour days. But I've got more energy to do those days now, which is a great thing. And I do enjoy my weekends off. I enjoy my days off in the week, although I use them for obviously marketing, paperwork side of things if I need to, doing calls like this for yourself. I don't actually, what's it called? I don't miss not working now because, like I said, I got other team members that are helping the obviously the work as well, really.
I always think as well, you know, especially with your type of job, if you're working 60, 70 hours, it's physical as well, isn't it? It's not like you're sitting here like this at a desk, even though that's not good for you.
Yeah.
You're like maneuvering patience and things like that. And obviously you want to also bring a good amount of energy to that. You know, every patient should be the same, right? Morning to evening. I think if you're doing that, at some point, something's going to break, right?
Definitely.
stress or mindset or just your body, because that's a lot to do 6 days a week for
Oh,
many years.
definitely. And to be honest with you, physically, I started having niggles and injuries. And ironically, even though COVID was a big, massive impact on everyone's businesses and everyone's lives, really, it
Yeah.
was a godsend for me because I had 7 weeks off from not seeing anyone and not working, which gave my chance to my body to repair as well because I was having niggles of a wrist injury, which I just couldn't shake off. And so rest and recovery was very important to me. But also, I realized then as well that I needed to start doing stuff, obviously, to get myself moving. So after COVID, I got in the gym and I was doing spin classes and I was getting myself physically fit. And that was making a big, big difference. But again, I lost a lot of muscle, a lot of strength. And that had an impact on me then as well to
Yeah.
make me feel. Obviously, I couldn't do my job properly then, if you know what I mean, because like I was struggling, especially when it come to dealing with larger people, obviously more muscular people. Obviously, physically, it was obviously a massive impact.
Yeah, and obviously that's not good for business. If you're not capable of doing the thing that you're good at, then that's only ever going to affect business going forwards, right?
Oh, definitely. And like I said, even my focus in the end as well, I was obviously realizing that actually I don't want to be doing this the rest of my life. When I started off as a 20-year-old doing this, it was like, I'm going to do this job the rest of my life. I'm going
Yeah.
to be the oldest chiropractor in Wales. And then I was started thinking, actually, retirement times don't sound like a bad idea in my 50s, really. But the way I feel now, to be honest with you, I feel great. Like I said, I'm 44 now and I've got another 30 years in me work wise because of obviously my mindset, my attitude, and everything else as well that's going with it.
I think I think the big thing for me as well is that if you're struggling with energy levels, if you're not feeling motivated, it's not just that you want to have this business growth and you don't maybe have the motivation to get there. I also feel like when you're in that place, you're not ready to take on challenges.
Oh, massively. And I think that's the thing, and a lot of people, I see it all the time, and it's weird actually, because obviously my job, not just as a chiropractor, but I become a bit of a life coach with patients because people coming in with all sorts of mental health conditions or stress, anxiety, injuries, and to be able to motivate someone, even if someone in the situation like me, because we see a lot of guys, they hit their 30s and 40s, and this is speaking from a male point of view,
Mhm.
they kind of obviously go, okay, I've done this, I've got the children, kind of let themselves go a little bit, really. They may have done this sport, and it's crazy, and I see that every day, and I remind myself of that. And then you get your fit 78-year-olds to come in who may be obviously been through the war sort of era, or obviously less obviously fortunate than us with regard to food choices, and then probably
Yeah.
exercise more because they were gardening and doing stuff. And these guys are fit. They're really, really strong, healthy people. And the ones that are still doing stuff, I mean, they've got guys coming in their 70s and 80s who still work, and you look at them and you go, wow, it's amazing. And then you look at yourself and you think, actually, these guys could jump over my head with their enthusiasm and energy. And I think it's crazy because unfortunately, work is geared to get people working their backsides off. They think I work harder instead of smarter, put all these hours in, and then you're sacrificing your own health and well being because you're always in work. Instead of obviously taking time to obviously look after yourself as well.
Dude, that was you a year ago,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, definitely.
I think when you initially spoke, I know you said you was into your gym, and I've seen old photos. You used to train, used to box, but obviously, I guess work got too busy, and your health just went down the list of priorities, right?
Oh, massively. And again, there's no excuse really, because like I see guys coming into me who've got families and they do stuff for their families and they're exercising, and you just think, wow, what is it that's different to them? And it's just the motivation and having a goal really. And I think having a goal bigger than yourself is sometimes what you need as well, really. It's something, and also realizing that it's all well having obviously money in the bank, and it's all well obviously working towards sort of retirement in some cases, but you want to be fit and healthy to get to retirement as well. There's no good being obviously retired at 60 or 70 and then you're knackered.
Well, the funny thing is, and I've talked about this quite often. If you asked, let's say you asked 100 people, like men, because I work with men, you're a man, right? If you asked 100 men what they want to do and then retire, I reckon about 90%, I'd say, want to go and travel and have holidays.
Yeah.
But what's the point? And traveling's tiring, and you need energy. Otherwise, you're not going to get anything out of it anyway.
Oh, exactly.
All right. So, in terms of like difference, in terms of like lifestyle, how you live your life now, You said, you're doing 60, 70 hours. Now you're able to work 3.5 days a week. Like, what has that meant to your lifestyle and the things you can do?
Oh, massively, to be honest. It's getting stuff done that I never used to be able to get done. Obviously, like I said, training. I can train in the day now, what I never used to be able to do. It's just quite nice because it means I get home early to spend time with the family. It obviously means I can get jobs done that I never used to be able to do, like go to the dentist, doctors, and all that. You're trying to schedule that around a normal work schedule is kind of hard, really.
Yeah.
But from the other side of things, it's having the time to go off and do courses and obviously go on holidays as well is important. To have those breaks, I think the biggest lesson I learned, obviously, a long time ago is if you're in work all the time and you're not having any enjoyment, eventually it becomes a chore. It becomes something that you don't enjoy anymore. And that's not a good place to be for anybody, really.
Are you enjoying work more? I think I know the
Oh,
answer.
to be honest with you, I love my job. I'm passionate about my job. I get to see people. I get to help people. Like my job years ago used to be roll out of bed, get into work for 9 o'clock, and I'd usually get up about 7, 8 o'clock, and I'd roll into work. Now my day starts at 20 past 6 in the morning. I'm actually checking emails, doing stuff that need to be done before I start work, and then I'm going to work for 7:30 and I work till 6 o'clock, and I'm in the gym at the end of the shift, and I've still got loads of energy after the 10-hour day, being on my feet and working with people. Something I never had before because when I wasn't eating properly, I wasn't sleeping properly, I wasn't exercising.
Yeah. So it's a vicious cycle, isn't it? I think.
Oh, massively. I'm probably more productive on a 3.5 day week than I was on a 6 day week. I used to do a lot of traveling with my job because I used to have 2 practices at one point as well. Obviously, this was before I jumped on the course with you guys. But again, even working myself down to 3.5 days a week, having the energy to be able to do that now and to be able to sustain that, because I started feeling that was a struggle. Because as much as it was nice having the time off and not working 6 days a week, I didn't have that energy. And then when I jumped on
Yeah.
obviously the training program and started doing more for myself, I found I actually had more oomph to want to do stuff, if you know what I mean. And I
Yeah.
also value my
100%.
weekends as well. I used to free on the weekends. I'd have one day off on a weekend, and I just try and cram everything in on that. And that's no fun, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously, I've seen the transformation in you like 9 months in now. But I think what I also noticed is those changes happened pretty quickly, didn't they? Of course, it's been
Yeah.
over time, but it didn't take long for your mindset to change, you to exercise more. It kind of like you got into it really quick, and all these changes just really like compounded on each other.
Oh,
Really,
massively. One thing I've learned a lot about myself, to be honest with you, it's so easy sometimes to sort of have that shiny coin sort of scenario where you're chasing the shiny coin. And I not
yeah,
mean in monetary, but I mean in anything, whether it's a new fad or a diet or whatever. And one thing, obviously, you said to me when we first started, the simple answer is just be consistent and just stick to doing what you know. And that's been a big thing for me because, like I said, I was doing sort of exercises, doing spin classes, I was doing badminton, I was doing all these things. And one consistent thing I've done for the last 9 months is I've exercised 4 to 5 times a week in the gym, doing the same sort of gym routine and all that, making sure I'm hitting the bulky areas.
yeah,
And that's been my secret, really, which is fantastic. And I think I was thinking about it the other day. Actually, I've been a member of my gym for nearly 20 years now, and I've probably trained more than the last 9 months than I have in 20 years consistently. If you look at it, obviously over time, and it's amazing. I just kick myself because I think if I'd only done that 20 years ago, imagine how I would feel now. Because like I said, I feel probably in one of the best shapes I've felt in a long time, both physically and mentally stronger than I used to be.
when you do say that, probably the best you've ever felt, physically, mentally, strongest you've ever felt. Like, how does that actually feel saying that, and what's the impact on your life?
Oh, it does. It feels really good. And like going clothes shopping and all that, and obviously putting clothes on again, or even just getting changed in the changing rooms. I know the mirrors are designed, and obviously the lights are fantastic in there. But you look at yourself
Yeah, certain
when.
change rooms, you always look good, don't you?
Oh yeah, definitely. If I could take them on with me, it'd be amazing.
Yeah,
But to be honest with you, again, as much as the mirrors show all the lights, the evidence is there, obviously, in the shape that is reflecting back at you. You may not see that, but other people see that. And that's a lovely feeling. It really is to feel good, both in clothes and all that as well. Makes a huge difference, as well as out the clothes.
yeah, 100%. Because I think, of course, like you say, you come in at the beginning, you want to lose some weight, maybe build some muscle, but essentially everyone wants to feel better, don't they?
Oh, definitely.
Feel better, more energy levels, and then moods lifted, and like I said, that you then got that motivation and want to challenge and build your business. I just want to finish up on just a couple of little business things. So we don't necessarily have to go into specifics on what that would mean in terms of revenue and profit, but getting those new therapists in and maybe a new chiropractor, what does that mean to you in terms of business? Does that mean you could more money, retire earlier? What would that look like? Have you thought about that?
Well, it's funny actually, because I obviously employing and taking people on, I realized a long time ago, with me just in the business, there is no business if I'm not in the business.
Yeah.
So whether you like it or not, whether you're running a dental practice, a veterinary practice, doctor's surgeries, or anything, it is a business that you're all running.
Mm-hmm.
And without that person there to be there, then there is no business. So you need a team of people around you, a good team, to continue, obviously, the operations when you're not there. So as an example, I'm due to go on holiday now, and we bring a locum in, which is fantastic. But during COVID lockdown, there was no locums, there was no travel. No one was going anywhere anyway. And when we did then go back to normality of such, all the locums that used to cover for chiropractors had all found jobs because they realized they couldn't travel and they couldn't have the same, obviously, freedom they had. So then clinics like mine, who used to rely on those people to cover for when they went on holiday, no longer had that luxury. So for me, employing staff, obviously, and to be able to take the pressure off me has been huge. To refer in-house has been huge. So even away from a monetary point of view, that is a massive, massive relief for me. We've gone computerized within our system. So again, if there was ever an issue within a clinic where there was a fire or water damage or anything like that, all I need is another empty building and a treatment table. I got my clinic in a box. I can move somewhere else. And that same thing is when it comes to staff as well. If you've got people around you that can do your job when you're no longer available, whether you're on holiday or you're ill or even no longer here, the business still goes on as well, which is a fantastic thing. So it takes the relief off me, because we all have responsibilities. We've all got obviously mortgages to pay and families to take care of and all that. And my staff are reliant on me. So obviously it's important that the clinic does really well, both financially as well as obviously seeing the people that we see, really, to be able to keep everything moving. Obviously, having the staff working there, it means I could work less if I wanted to, but I'm really happy where I am at the moment. I don't want to work any less hours. I may lose a Tuesday morning at some point when we do have a member of staff there, because it'll be a day that they can actually have that I'm not working then, really. But I'm at that position where we could do that now. I wasn't in that position before. And like I said, we've got 3 very good team members working at the moment as therapists, which obviously helped to lighten the load for me. I've gone away on courses I've had to go on, and to be able to not have to worry about caring for someone because there's someone there to help them is a fantastic position to be in, really. Now, in the terms of monetary side of things, I could retire early now if obviously moving forward, and that's going to help that sort of process. Whether I will or not is another thing, but to have the choice is an important thing. It really is. And I think that's one of the biggest things for all of us, really, to be aware of, is to have financial freedom is something we should all strive for, but none of us are obviously encouraged to, really. It's a case of work all your life and retire, get your pension at the end if you're lucky. And sometimes people get to retirement age and they haven't got a health. They focus on obviously their wealth, but they don't focus on their health. And if you haven't got your health, then the wealth is nothing. And likewise, if you've got your wealth and you've got no health, it's not good.
Yeah, look, 100%. I agree. And, even saying that, you could potentially retire early and you have that choice. That's huge.
Yeah, definitely. And I've seen, like I said, I've lost both parents at young ages, and I never want to be in that position. And I see a lot of younger people around me, obviously in not good places. And I think for a lot of us, we could all learn from that. I mean, appreciate life. And they say you only you live once, but you don't. You live every day. And obviously, it's why you make the choices. I mean, you only die once. So making sure you get to that stage where you're in perfect health as best as you can possibly be and live as long as you can. I think it's an amazing challenge to strive for, to be honest with you. I think everyone should have that goal, is to be the best you can possibly be. I think we all should obviously focus on that.
Yeah, I think the thing that maybe people struggle with is, like I said at the top, I think people are very willing to invest in a business coach, how their business move forward, or someone to help with marketing and sales. But I think when it comes to health, I think a lot of people don't see it as an investment. And in my eyes, and I'm sure you agree now, it's the best investment you can make.
Oh,
You're never going to get a
massively.
better return, right?
Oh, well, use my practice as an example. You've got someone that comes in that's in a terrible state. Not only does it affect them mentally and physically, it affects them financially because all of a sudden, and it don't matter what job you're in, even if you're self-employed or employed by someone, it comes to a point in time where there's not going to be a job there anymore. There's not going to be any financial stream coming in. Even in the
Yeah,
NHS, you may be on obviously long-term sick, but that money soon runs out or goes to half pay. Well, you still got to pay your mortgage and all that. And obviously, if you're fit and healthy, in a way, it's a no-brainer. If you think about it in the sort of society of things, if everyone was fit and healthy, then they never need a doctor. Do you know what I mean? Touch wood, everyone was obviously go through their lives, never
I've
need to
been to
take
the doctor
medication.
once in 20 years, Lee.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm the same, to be honest with you. I have regular chiropractic care, I have regular massages. I
Yeah,
don't actually use the doctors, and it's not to say I don't agree with doctors because I do. They're important, they got their role like everybody else. But if you keep yourself fit and healthy and well, you're reducing your chances of having any problems. So heart disease, diabetes, and all
yeah,
that. These are things which can actually be caused from diet and lifestyle choices as well. Some people obviously it's hereditary, but some people are there because of the bad choices they've made. I've seen people over the years that have lost weight. They've got themselves fit and well. They've made that choice in their life where they've maybe had a heart attack or they've had a life scare or someone else in the family's had a life scare and they've turned their lives around and they're no longer taking medications. And you think, well, that's amazing, really, to not have to take anything that's
yeah,
basically replacing one thing or another or keeping you alive. It's like tablets itself. People take an headache tablet to get rid of a headache. Well, the headache is either because you're tired, you're dehydrated, you're hungry, or there's something seriously going wrong with you, really. And they're the things you need to look at when it comes to those things. And if you resolve those problems, then hopefully you can actually maintain good health and well-being, really.
yeah, dude. I couldn't agree more. You know, I've had clients that have come off high blood pressure tablets, even like antidepressants, like all sorts of medications, even clients that have reversed diabetes, and it's all health and lifestyle related. All right.
Massive.
Last question. You mentioned obviously having a team work-wise, but how was it being in the Lean project? And I like to think as all guys of the team. How was that like being part of the team?
It's really good, to be honest with you. Like when I started off, I was a bit nervous because everyone was obviously in front of me, and I just didn't feel like I was bringing anything to the table in a way because it's like starting something new, meeting new people. They've already bonded and gelled,
Yeah,
but it didn't take me long to feel like I fitted in, which is really good.
dude, you're definitely part of the furniture now.
Everyone was very welcoming and all, which was really,
Yeah,
really nice. And obviously having stuff to be able to obviously share myself, obviously from my expertise, but also obviously the stuff I've experienced and stuff I've changed to be able to help motivate other people. So my brother-in-law has come on board with the team as well, which is great. He's seen the benefits I saw, and obviously he's seen some great benefits himself now. So being part of the team has been great. It really has. It's something that you need for support to help encourage you, then it's there for you. If you're obviously wanting that, or you need that extra push, and you're a little bit scared, obviously, to go out there and do it, it's definitely something I would advise people to do, because it is. If you've never been to the gym or you obviously don't have a direction or an aim, having something like that to achieve, obviously, or aim for it is so important. Really, if you want to achieve those goals, you've got to set them really, and then having someone that holds you accountable. I think for me, I've always been a motivational person anyway, a
yeah.
motivated person. Sorry. But what I found, obviously, I just needed that extra kick of the ass, really, and I also needed. It's okay to not obviously be okay at times, and obviously you're gonna have your up days and your down days, but as long as you keep moving forward, that's the biggest thing I've learned from it.
Yeah. No, like I said, I agree as well. And I think there's no shame in asking for help or needing help. And also, you're going to get, like, there's that saying in that if you want to go far, if you want to go quick, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And if you look
Yeah,
at anything, if you're building a house, if you're building anything, everyone does it as a team because
yeah,
it's going to be better. Like you say, you're going to go further with a team. But so I think that support, that accountability, and being part of something is really, really powerful. I know when I've been in coaching programs as part of a team, that's really helped me push on.
yeah, definitely. I think the biggest thing for me was self control with everything, whether it's down to alcohol or food or anything like that. Really, not that I drunk much, but I'd actually enjoyed a drink and all that. And now I go, do I need this drink? Do I really want it? So I actually ask myself those questions now. And the same with chocolate, like I could easily sit and eat a packet of hobnob biscuits in a cup of tea and in an evening, and then bars of chocolate and all that. And I don't have that urge anymore. I don't need to. And it's ironic because obviously I train a lot more, and I do love my food, but I actually don't feel I need those bad foods which my body used to crave when I wasn't training. It's a weird thing, really. Training and exercise has become, obviously, and obviously diet, lifestyle changes has been a huge, massive thing for me. But like I said, mentally has been the biggest thing. Is realizing actually I do have a choice, and I can actually make the right choices. When you look at products and you're tracking things, I don't need to do that as much now with the tracking, even though I do track every day.
Yeah.
I keep an eye on it all. It's more a routine now than anything, but I'm not obsessed with it. And if I want a pizza, I eat the pizza, and I really enjoy the pizza. I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel guilty. But I also know that I've already burned so many calories that week. Having that one sort of treat in a week is not going to break the bank, if you know what I mean, from a health point of view. And also, once I've had it, I go, oh, okay, I didn't miss that. Same with alcohol. I'll have a beer or whatever, or a can of cider. I go, actually, really didn't miss that. I quite happily sit there and drink water or obviously squash.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, and I think it's a real good place to get to where you do have a few beers, we do have a pizza, and it's okay as long as you're having that 88% of the time, like I've talked about so often. Good healthy diet, gives you that 20% freedom. Last thing to wrap up, what if you like to have I don't know, the biggest win or the biggest breakthrough or the biggest thing that's had an impact on you, like let's say work wise, that's mainly what it talks about, like. What's that for you? Is it the fact that maybe you can retire earlier, you have that option, the growth? What would it be for you, Leigh?
Well, to be honest with you, when I first started looking at pension plans about 4 or 5 years ago, my financial advisor said, "Look, Leigh, you need to look at a pension. You need to have something in place." It seems so long away, to be honest with you. Actually, it was probably a little bit longer than 4 or 5 years ago, but we had a meeting about 4 or 5 years ago and we discussed it again.
Yeah.
And one, I never imagined myself retiring. I thinking, what am I going to do? What did I want to do? Now, obviously, having that choice has been a huge thing, really, but also having my fitness and my well-being, feeling good. I'm not dreading the thought of retiring at some point in my life now because there's so many other things I want to do, which is good. And to have my health and well-being to be able to do that is so crucially important for me. I mean, I see a lot of guys come into me who are retired, and you just see them thriving, and you see the others who are not, who have got no plan and no goal. And it's a really, really sad thing. So obviously to be in a better financial position is a great thing to be, but also to have a team around me working. So it means I could work less hours if I wanted to. That's an option now. And having that choice is such a lovely thing to be able to do, really.
Yeah, it's awesome. All right, I think we'll wrap up there. It's a really, really nice way to finish. Obviously, this is success interview number 2, and I've seen your journey, right, and how you've been obviously stepped up yourself, but also been a real valuable member of the team. So I think the other guys will appreciate what you've done and what the input you've had as well. It's been awesome. So thank you, Leigh, for jumping on. Photo shoot soon for me and the guys, and obviously I'll see you on tonight's call.
Nice one, Mike. Cheers, buddy.
All right. Cheers, Leigh.
Thanks.
Cheers, guys. Speak soon.
Bye.
Bye.